Christian Cage may be the best free agent signing in AEW history. And if you take away the Young Bucks, if you take away Kenny Omega, if you take away Cody and Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, the people who were there from the beginning, who I don't count as free agent signings, there has been no one more important to where the company is today than Christian Cage. He came in at Revolution 2021 as this former world champion who was going to sign a contract with AEW. It was built up. Tony Khan had said that there was going to be a surprise. And when he came out, people were underwhelmed. People didn't think that this lived up to the hype. However, if we look back at the past 2-3 years now that Christian has been in AEW, it is undeniable that his impact on the company has blown away the expectations that were set out the day he debuted. People thought he was going to come in, have a nice run, be a good guy that people can work with to elevate young guys. However, he is currently in the midst of the best run of his entire career, arguably the best heel in professional wrestling today, cutting some of, if not the best promos in professional wrestling today, calling out people's father, aligning himself with Luchasaurus, aligning himself with Nick Wayne, main eventing Wrestle Dream, and doing so as Edge, now known as Adam Copeland, made his AEW debut. Something that in all likelihood would not have happened had Christian Cage not been a member of the AEW roster. Adam Copeland made it clear in the post-show media scrum as well on Dynamite this past week that one of the biggest reasons that he signed with AEW was because his 9-year-old daughter told him that he should go be with Uncle Jay in AEW. In a weird turn of events, if Christian Cage didn't join AEW, then they wouldn't have had Adam Copeland. And if Christian Cage doesn't join AEW, then arguably one of the biggest moments in AEW history is completely different. Remember, All Out 2021, the main event of that show was Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW World Championship. A match that had actually been built up great and had made Christian look like a viable threat, having defeated Kenny Omega just 2 weeks prior on the inaugural edition of Rampage for the Impact Wrestling World Championship. So he went into the event looking like a threat. People thought he was going to be a threat. He didn't win the match, but it laid the groundwork for a great few weeks of television afterwards. It laid the groundwork for Bryan Danielson making his debut. It laid the groundwork for Adam Cole, baby, making his debut. And then you look at everything that's happened since then and the heel turn for Christian Cage, what he's done for Jungle Boy Jack Perry, what he's done for a young guy like Darby Allin, bringing Nick Wayne into the spotlight at a time where Luchasaurus seemed to be lost. We didn't know where he would fit into the AEW roster. Many fans didn't expect Luchasaurus to even stick around in the company, yet here he is. He's a part of this dominant faction now with himself and Nick Wayne and Christian Cage. And those three are critical aspects of AEW TV week in and week out. And if you look at the segment that ended Dynamite this past week, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, two best friends for nearly 20 years. This is the first time that these two have been on a major wrestling program where they have been put at an equal level. Because instead of Christian Cage coming to Edge's aid, instead of Christian Cage being the best friend of Edge, Christian Cage is now the enemy, or the frenemy, whatever you want to call it, of Adam Copeland. Because Adam Copeland is invading Christian's domain. Adam Copeland is coming in and infringing on Christian's turf during a monumental run in his career. And a run where Christian Cage can honestly say that he's done more for this company right now than Adam Copeland has. So you take all of the moments he's been a part of, the chain of events that led to Adam Copeland joining All Elite Wrestling, and you combine that with the fact that Christian Cage's signing back in 2021 did in fact add more credibility for other free agency signings later on to come into AEW. Of course, you had Jon Moxley, Omega, the Bucks, and Cody already, But for free agents to jump ship from WWE to AEW, Christian Cage really set the tone for that. And I know that people want to say, well, CM Punk was obviously the biggest and best free agency signing for AEW. And while you would be right in that he did make the biggest splash when he debuted, the reality is CM Punk fizzled out very quickly in AEW. And whether it was the Brawl Out media scrum, whether it was the all-in fight he had backstage allegedly with Jack Perry, CM Punk's impact on AEW was one that wasn't long-lasting and one that left a bad taste in many fans' mouth. So you flip that on its head and you look at Christian Cage. He's someone who's had a lasting impact on this company, who's been a part of these big moments, and who has helped pave the way for other free agents. And while there are other free agents, of course, like Adam Cole, such as Bryan Danielson, I don't think that either of those men yet have had the impact that Christian Cage has had. This is someone who helped make it cool to go to All Elite Wrestling. This is someone who proved everyone wrong and proved that he is not only better than many fans thought he was, but he outworked everyone and he made it to the top and proved himself to be a true main eventer.